If I say Iceland, I'm sure you have a picture in your mind, and it's probably a really cool one. You're thinking of volcanoes, horses, Björk, a beautiful landscape, fishing boats besting the British Navy, Björk, and the Icelandic language. Icelandic is awesome, and today I'm going to make the case as to why it is so cool. Get it? Cool? Like the subpolar oceanic climate made possible by the Erminger current that most Icelanders live in? Okay. The first reason why Icelandic is so cool is its aesthetic. Icelanders are artists by tradition, with many being musicians, painters, and/or authors. And boy, is the Icelandic alphabet art. The Icelandic alphabet has 32 characters, with many digraphs and trigraphs producing other phonemes. Icelandic is far from perfect on the old glyph per phoneme chart, but I think it actually adds to the mystical aura of the Icelandic alphabet. Icelandic uses really cool diacritics and archaic letters, those being thorn, ash, and eth. It's subjective, but I think the usage of these characters, especially the copious usage thereof, gives Icelandic a really cool exotic vibe written out. See words like Snæfellsjökull, Metalokkar, and Thjaningu. Yeah, the Icelandic alphabet is not phonetically accurate, but it's okay because I still think it looks awesome. The second reason is that Icelandic has a long linguistic history, especially because of the first grammatical treatise. In Icelandic, Fyrsta málfræði ritgerðin. That's as close as I'm going to get that. This work from the mid-12th century is a time capsule into the history of Icelandic, and is also one of the first works showing modern linguistic theories. The author of the treatise created a Latin Icelandic alphabet to replace runes with some pretty cool characters, and although it was never widely used, it ultimately had a large influence on Icelandic orthography today. The treatise shows the state of Old Icelandic before the writing of the Icelandic sagas, and reveals a secret bunch of nasal phonemes. Now, some of you may be thinking, hold up, phonemes weren't invented until 1873. Okay, fine. The word phoneme wasn't coined until 1873. But phonemes have been understood to have existed for over 2,000 years, and the treatise importantly used minimal pairs to prove the existence of different phonemes instead of allophones in Old Icelandic, which is awesome. You can read the treatise in its own orthography and in Old Icelandic, linked in the description. The third reason is the special type of linguistic purism used in Icelandic. You heard it right, fellas. I support Icelandic prescriptivism. But why? Well, because Icelandic does a thing where they have almost no loanwords. Instead, when the need for a new word arises, a word will be created from Old Norse and Old Icelandic roots. At first, this was just getting rid of Danish words. Now it also targets English words. The Icelandic language is not spoken by many people, and so keeping the language pure and up-to-date helps Icelandic survive. The linguistic purism of Icelandic does not harm foreign language learning, though, and it's not done like English or Spanish prescriptivism. Icelandic purism also holds almost universal support from the government, the language institutes of Icelandic, and the Icelandic population. Hardcore Zidna fans or historical linguist enthusiasts will have heard of the Danish linguist Rasmus Rask, who was fascinated with Icelandic and tried to promote its revival during a time of Danish hegemony. For Icelanders, Icelandic purism is not about making a prescriptivist point. It's about survival of their tongue and culture, and the literal translations of many of these coined words, such as skriðdreki, veiðafræði, simi, oh god, I think I got those right, are very cool too. Before we get into the coolest part of Icelandic, I'd like to thank my Patreon supporters, with special thanks to Kiranik, Albert Jones, Evil Hag, Agma Schwa, Officegobble, Pirate, Eden, Benny, Acorn, and Babalingua. Support from you guys is a large reason I keep making videos, so if you enjoy the channel and would like to help it out, consider supporting me on Patreon, or subscribing if you haven't already. Grammar time! Let's see what Wikipedia says about Icelandic grammar. This article or section should specify the language of its non-English content. This article possibly contains original research. Oh. Alright, well, let's read it anyways. I'm going to keep this very simple, and if you want to know in more detail, videos will be linked in the description. Icelandic nouns are sorted into 3 grammatical genders, masculine, feminine, and neuter, which is most often discernible by the ending. They can be inflected on whether they're singular or plural, and if they're definite or indefinite. Like other North Germanic languages, the definite article is usually attached to the end of the noun, but unusually, there is no indefinite article. Icelandic has also retained an old phenomenon, the strong-weak noun groups. These are further declension categories based off of the ending of the noun in the nominative and genitive singular cases. Strong nouns are still around in Irish, and weak nouns are still around in German and English, although barely. Icelandic has the classic German case system: nominative, accusative, dative, and genitive. All nouns are declined accordingly. Adjectives have to agree with their noun in all categories: case, number, gender, and whether it's strong or weak. Oh, and there's a lot of pronouns. Like, a lot. And there's some archaic pronouns that are still used on top of that. And then there's the demonstratives. How much more of this Wikipedia article do I need to get through? Oh my. Speed round? Speed round. Icelandic verbs are conjugated for tense, mood, person, and voice, and number. The two tenses are the simple present and the simple past, with others formed by auxiliary verbs. The four moods are the indicative, imperative, conditional, and subjunctive. Conjugation for person also depends on the conjugation class of the verb, with 3 weak classes and 3 strong classes, and whether it's singular or plural. And there are 3 voices: the active, middle, and passive. Adverbs aren't as stupidly complicated as everything else, so that's it. We don't need to cover them that much. Icelandic prepositions can be accusative, dative, genitive, or two-way between accusative and dative, like German, which is awesome. Basic word order is SVO, but everything is possible. Also, there's second verb final, which is awesome. Questions are formed with VSO and maybe raised tone, with some question words being declined according to their nouns. Sound changes also exist. I love Icelandic's grammar, but I do not like editing it when making a video. All right, I think that's all. Thanks for watching.